Hello there, hi, and welcome to this Leading with Intuition energy update. My name is Kate, and we're going to be looking ahead today at the month of August and looking to see what the landscape is potentially going to be looking like, what opportunities for soul growth might be coming up for each of us, as well as so some overarching themes and the ally energy that we can tap into to help us navigate the path ahead. So we're looking at some themes, some overarching themes, and then the actual middle row of cards is the actual landscape itself, and then the bottom row is what we're looking at in terms of energy supporting that journey and maybe some lessons that can be learned along the way as well. So some big themes some kind of overarching themes for August they're coming up around releasing. There's a lot of messages around like releasing limiting beliefs and negative self-talk, with self-care being really important for you to focus on this upcoming month. The importance also of getting really clear on who you are and what is authentic for you. Like that's a very, very important message that's coming through this month. Taking a moment to learn to be grounded, and again, grounding not only in your physical body, but also grounding in that authentic self as well, as really being centered in who you are, which is then going to help you rise above the chaos and the fray. If there's potentially stormy outer conditions throughout this next month, we really want to learn to have strategies in our backpack, our travel backpack, that can help us root down into the ground and just stay steady. When the roots run deep, there's no need to fear the wind. And that's the one thing that we're really being encouraged to look at this upcoming month of August. The other symbology that's really coming up is that those trees repeat themselves. And it's this energy, again, of the tree roots, but also of the letting go of the leaves. It's like this autumn energy. So transmutation with fire, dropping leaves, getting ready for like winter. So again, that's that same message around really letting go of what no longer is part of your best self. Like what do you need to release now so that you can walk forward in a really true, authentic way and in alignment with who you are. The energy of August is one of very fiery Leo anyway. So there is a lot of of that masculine, passionate, creative, fiery energy, and that's definitely showing up again here in this reading. So let's start looking at kind of the overall themes. A question that came up around what's important to you keep asking yourself for the next couple weeks is, to who am I comparing myself right now? And what this really feels like is there's the potential comparison and ideology of idolizing, I should say, of other people. Maybe again, it's social media, and these are people that you don't know, or there's people around you that are in your sphere that you're potentially comparing yourself to them. And what that's actually doing is blocking and hindering all of your creativity. And again, that's the message around this, is that we want to be actually striving for authenticity and being our best original self, and there's nothing that compares to you. And so really just ask yourself that question. Again, maybe that's a really good journal exercise for you to spend some time doing, is like, who am I comparing myself to right now? And then it might also even be an older version of yourself, if there's looking back with some nostalgia on where you used to be or how you saw yourself before, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in health, whether it's in business. And the message really is to drop all of that. It's an illusion, okay? So there's like a projection outwards, and the aspect of grounding is actually coming into yourself and into your being and being in alignment with who you are today. So really think about, who am I comparing myself to right now? Who and or what, okay? It's really important to surrender this, because the limiting beliefs actually keep you stuck. And are really being encouraged this month to really burn off and release anything that is holding you back from, like that phoenix rising from the flames. Okay, so we want to be burning off and transmuting anything that's no longer part of our authentic self. The other, so we mentioned, the grounding is coming up as a really important self-care, technique and energy around this month of August. And there's lots of ways to ground, but however you do it, it's just always remembering to ground and the importance of grounding. And what comes with grounding is also being present. So again, like we talked about, there's not a projection out of an illusion in the past or the present. The past or the future, but actually being present right now. And that's another really good way of actually helping you surrender outdated beliefs about yourself, is to actually just ground them and give them back to the earth. So there's a real message around this right now about surrendering outdated beliefs about yourself. So letting go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. Then you can own your power and soar in your life. So again, where are you, if that's an also comparison, like to whom am I comparing myself right now? Also, it's like I mentioned, are you comparing yourself to old versions of yourself, outdated beliefs about yourself? So this is really an important time to be aware of what you might say to yourself, like negative self-talk or stories that you're running, and let them go. And again, ground and be authentic in yourself and who you are today, because that's going to then set you on the path of where you need to go next. The trees, are real important symbology here, because trees are interdependent. Now, they grow independently of each other, but they work interdependently in a group, so a forest, a woodland. And it also just feels like that's a really important aspect to kind of bring into your life as a metaphor as well, is grounding and being authentically in alignment with myself. And that, an oak tree doesn't look next door to a maple, and I'm assuming doesn't wish that it was a maple. An oak tree does everything in its power to be the best oak tree that it can be. It puts its roots down into the ground and it reaches up towards the sun. But the trees around it support each other. A grove of trees, a woodland of trees, a forest of trees actually all support each other and are all interconnected. And so they all have a role to play in that group, but they need to also stand tall on their own. So that's, again, important, looking at where your how can you show up more interdependently in your relationship to the world around you, and maybe not be compromising some of the ways that you are showing up, and letting limiting beliefs keep you small. Another way of really helping to ground yourself is to actually go and spend time with trees. Like, it's one of the quickest and most effective ways to do that. So as much as possible, get outside, get around trees, visualize being a tree, being around trees, and that really helps you stay grounded as well at this time. So the final card here on the top row is the animal ally. So the dragonfly medicine. This is a beautiful deck, because this is one of my brand new decks actually. This is also a tarot deck. So we have a really nice combination of animal symbology as well as tarot meanings. And so there's two meanings here directly just on the card, as well as other meanings that dragonfly might mean to you. The Eight of Wands is very much about like fast messages coming in. It's almost like a dam bursting, or things just flowing super fast, like a lot of maybe movement forward, or a lot of information coming at you. So one message here is around, again, the importance of grounding, so that you can stay stable and steady in yourself if there is a lot of energy and movement around you. But the other message with the dragonfly here is that the dragonfly actually spends most of its life in the nymph phase, which is, if you think like a childlike phase. But as it emerges into the adult form, which most of us see around, it symbolizes the change, positive change, optimism, stepping forward with authenticity. Because the other deeper meaning around the dragonfly is it's not just change, but there's a level of like self-realization and mental and emotional maturity that actually also comes from the dragonfly energy. So where can you tap into that? Again, rising above, seeing things from a higher perspective, but really being authentic with yourself, about yourself, letting go, because you can't fly if you're carrying around a lot of outdated, heavy baggage, negative baggage. So that's another important reason to let that all go, so that you can actually move forward successfully and positively. The Eight of Wands is it's like, this is the whole feeling of just transformation. So the wands as an element anyway is fire. So again, like I mentioned, there's like this feeling of things being transmuted and transformed, and just letting again, that fire just burn away what's no longer needed in your life. So pay attention. You might see, dragonflies appearing in your life, and they're also, it doesn't have to necessarily be the animal itself, but just notice if, dragonfly is talking to you in symbols. Maybe you see an illustration, maybe you see, it written down somewhere, referenced. That's always fun to kind of look around and just use your childlike imagination and just see how that animal medicine is showing up for you in this month ahead. Okay, great. So what does the actual journey look like? And now this is, we could think about it as weeks, maybe like 4 weeks of the month I think about it as 4 phases. And again, the first 2 can happen really slowly and the last 2 happen super fast, or they could all, evenly be spread out. So it isn't necessarily a time stamp on these. It's just more of a story. So what does the story look like? Well, to start off at the beginning of August, which is actually going to be around the new moon in Leo, there is something here that's blocking creativity. And so you might feel that there's somebody or something, and it might even be yourself, that is dousing your creativity. And this could also come from, where again it's being placed in this reading, is your creativity, again, like mentioned, being blocked by your comparison to other people. So really pay attention to how that might be showing up, and what you can do to take control and take power back in that situation, and not let your light and spark of creativity be dimmed by yourself or others. And is keep that fire burning, really tap into that Leo energy, because the interesting energy that comes with this is the wailing tree, which is talking about reconciliation. So this is, again, an interesting message. There's something here around the old adage of, I need to feel it to heal it. Okay, so it feels like the creativity is buried deep within maybe emotions that you're suppressing, and that you need to, or you're being really highly encouraged to let come to the surface, so that they can be healed and transmuted. But if you're feeling, frustration or, emotional, maybe a deep buried pain, or, even something that feels like very childlike in its, that frustration where you just want to like stamp your feet and just cry out of frustration, it's really going to be a good idea for you to actually turn and face and just let that emotion come out, because that also feels like that's what's responsible for blocking a lot of the creativity and a lot of the spark. So let that emotion come up and heal it, feel it and heal it, and let that almost fuel your creativity. So look down in the depths of buried emotion and see how you can almost, again, transmute that by creating something with it. Again, it's the tree symbology here, so it's letting it whatever comes up, go. Again, give it to trees, give it to nature, and let it burn. Again, there might be something around like a ceremony or a ritual that you want to do, is actually physically write things down and burn them. That's a really effective way of cleansing and releasing whatever might be holding you back. Because after we've done that, we then move into this is the bone collector and protection. And again, there's something here around it's almost like a repetition of repeating patterns. So you might be challenged with something that keeps coming, it feels like it's just coming up again and again and again. And what the bone collector really wants you to do is collect all of the parts of yourself back, and integrate. And we're talking about an overall theme of authenticity and integrity. So the bone collector really is encouraging you to get out there and claim and re-empower yourself by claiming all the pieces of yourself that might have been left. And whenever we have a traumatic experience, for example, we leave a piece of us back there. So while you're going through this healing of letting your emotions that have been buried coming up to the surface, you take the opportunity to reclaim the part of yourself that may have been left behind and lost during that experience. So there will be a challenge around bringing yourself back into a whole. The affirmation with this card is you are whole and everything you need is within. So really think about and be aware of experiences that might be coming up that feel like they're blocking you from stepping into that place of wholeness and empowerment. Because it's like that pattern break around, it's the same situation, but you're different. So do it differently, approach situations differently. And if there's parts that you're carrying around that are not yours, this is time to let them go. That's also, it's a real release energy around this. Just let them fall away, let them burn away. The supporting energy around this is this benefactor card, which is having the energy of grace and generosity. And I just love this card. These mice are so sweet. There's a level of like authority here, peonies and the royal crown and happiness. So it's almost like a case of like, let these parts come back with joy, and let them, and not be afraid to give of yourself to others either. And so accept, there will be people or situations that want to give to you. So staying open and receiving with joy, but also taking the opportunity to give graciously to others as well. Again, that's that interdependent energy around everybody. If everybody gives, then everybody gets. And it might be a case of self-forgiveness and which is actually, of course, the next card. Then is that compassion, giving and receiving with kindness, compassion, and forgiving anything that is maybe been stolen from you, what feels like it's been stolen from you in the past, so that you can actually return to wholeness within. The third phase of this month is coming apart. Now, this is a really interesting, again, message here, because this for me feels like dropping of masks. I always think that with this card, it's that almost like that statue outer layer being cracked wide open so that your inner light can shine. And dropping whatever outfit or masks that you feel that you need to wear for safety, and letting them fall away. The other message obviously that comes around with this card is the any relationships might be falling apart right now that are no longer in alignment with where you're going and who you need to be. So if that happens, again, with just with grace, and just let things fall, let things fall away, let things burn away. And if they're again, these are even things like limiting beliefs. So it's letting it's like cracking almost. It feels like it's that cracking of a mask of inauthenticity. And I can just imagine just like seeing it just being smashed like with a hammer, like a marble statue. So let that light just crack through and start to shine out into the real world. The energy here is, again, one of forgiveness. So this is talking about repairing the veil. And if there are relationships or situations that are coming to end, again, doing it gracefully and doing it from a place of self-forgiveness and forgiveness of others. And but also even here with repairing the veil, like there's a light, and there's a butterfly that's here, which is again all that message around transformation. But it's like an interesting imagery here, where we have one part of it is you being asked to come apart. Something is coming apart at the seams, and then we're being asked to repair it. So it's like repairing the veil around, dropping the veil of illusion for a start, and bringing the parts of yourself, again, that's that parts work. So bringing all the parts back into yourself, and then doing whatever energy work you need to actually repair that energy field around you, so that you're not continuing to hold any of those energetic cords to something that is outdated and needs to stay where it is. So this is also, when you're actually looking back to like, who am I comparing myself to others, or who is, trying to douse my light right now, is actually sending them forgiveness too. Remembering that everybody is doing the best they can with the resources they have available, and letting that go, because forgiveness is for you, it's not for them. Forgiveness allows you to drop the bags from the balloon so that it can rise higher. And it's an energy drain when you're actually carrying things around that are holding you tethered to the past. Because we're finishing this month here with the One Ring Circus in protection, with the energy of the eyes of the eagle and rising above the fray. Now there's something here around wanting to get back into a place of independence. It's again the same theme, but working interdependently with others. The message here is around being aware of where your personal power is trying to be taken away from you, or you're handing it away. So where are you giving away your power? And set a boundary. So it's looking around, this is me and this is who I am. This is where I begin and end. This is really important. It feels like here, again, like with this repairing of the veil and tidying, cleaning up your energy field, is actually really making sure that you're also strengthening the boundary around the edge of it, so that you only allow in the energy and limiting beliefs and opinions and all that kind of stuff that is healthy for you, that is actually in your highest good. And be careful where people are trying to put out your fire. It's a feeling of being, so this eyes of the eagle is the looking up, so that an eagle will see a storm coming. And we've talked again about the chaos, maybe like this Eight of Wands energy. An eagle has the ability to actually see a storm coming, and it can rise above it, so it can fly above it. And it feels like this is a message that's coming through here for this month around keeping your eyes on the horizon and looking at the big picture, so that you can maybe avoid some conflict, and stay out of the fray, the day-to-day chaos and confusion that might be coming up. Again, this feeling of just staying grounded and rooted in yourself actually strengthens you against any outward chaos that might be going on. Keep the big picture in mind and react to nothing. This world is not personal. Wear it really loosely around whatever is happening outside. It's not personal to you. Just wear it loosely, observe with curiosity, and know that you are always going to be safe and protected. And there you have an army literally of guidance around you that is always talking to you and always giving you these signs and symbols and helping you stay on path. And your job is to just pay attention. So that is, again, keeping your eyes open and looking for the path to be laid out in front of you, so that you're just one step at a time, staying present, not looking too far in the future, not looking too far in the past, just being where you are right now today, and just trusting that you're going to know which way to go if you lose the path in front of you. There's, just because you can't see it doesn't mean that the path isn't there and will reveal itself if you just keep walking. So don't hesitate. Like, if you're in a situation where you don't know what to do, just keep moving forward and trust yourself, trust your guidance, trust that you are protected always, and it's important to keep moving forward and growing. So there's kind of a couple of images here around like being on the ground as the tree, putting your roots down into the ground, being really at one with the fire, but then also being able to rise up and rise out of the fire and look at almost looking down on the forest, and seeing the horizon. So always when you're starting to feel maybe a little bit claustrophobic or feeling trapped in any way and feeling less than empowered, take back that power and actually rise up into yourself and into your knowing, and know that you have the ability to always do that and reclaim whatever parts of you that are feeling disempowered. You have the power to reclaim them. All right, so that's August, and I hope it's an amazing one, which I'm absolutely sure it will be. And I look forward to hearing your updates on how this unfolds for you and speaking to you again next time. Thanks a lot.